Life has a really funny way of humbling you if you don't humble yourself first. And this is coming from somebody who went from the starting shortstop at the University of South Carolina to getting cut at the end of the year, or even my freshman year when I was at the University of Notre Dame. I started the year hitting leadoff, and then by the end of the year, I wasn't even playing at all. And in this video, I'm going to walk through some of my experiences that I've been through because I've lived a pretty roller coaster life. And just recently, actually earlier today, I was looking in the mirror and I was just reflecting because, February just ended. I'm going into March, and like I always try and do a reflection at the end of every single month going into the next month. And I started feeling myself because I was like, wow, I have so much momentum right now. I've made so much progress. Things are going exceptionally well. Like, honestly, things haven't ever gone better. And I started feeling myself, and I was like, wow, I'm a stud. I live this great life. And I'm being super open and transparent right now. I was like, wow, I'm a stud. I live this great life. Like, I'm getting shredded. I'm getting jacked. I'm super disciplined. Like, I just started feeding my ego. And I was like, yeah, like I have this sick place. And I just checked myself. I was like, whoa, dude, you kind of sound like a douchebag right now. To be honest, like, why are you placing so much worth in all of these things that are going on in your life? And I had to reset. And I was like, dude, it's not the things that are going on in my life. It's not the apartment and the view and the business and the watch, or like I got these expensive sunglasses, or, my physique or anything like that. It's none of those things that should be giving me confidence or making me feel good about myself, because all of these things can be stripped away from me at any time. I can lose it all. I could lose it all. It's very real. And if you place your confidence in things like that, and that's how you make your ego feel validated, and you become ego driven, then sure, when things are going good, you're going to feel yourself. But life is very cyclical. So as soon as things start to not go your way, you're going to nosedive headfirst straight down. And that's exactly what I did at the University of South Carolina. Opening weekend, I went, I want to say like maybe 4 for 9, made a bunch of like really good plays. Things were great. And then boom, I went like 0 for 4 on the midweek, started panicking. And then I think I went like 0 for 35 at one point my junior year. So Coach Kingston, if you're watching this, I don't blame you for cutting me. I would have cut me too. I was a terrible teammate. But point being, my ego was so wrapped up in what was going on. And because my ego was so fragile, based on something that I couldn't control, like my batting average or however well I was playing at the time, and those things are just going to be kind of a roller coaster. It's just the nature of life, and particularly baseball, right? So because my ego felt so threatened every single time I went to the plate, I couldn't play with a clear mind. And so because I couldn't play with a clear mind, because quite literally my entire identity rested on my ability to get a hit right then and there. So it was basically life or death is the mental state that I was putting myself in. Every single time I went to the plate, I was in fight or flight mode, even when things were going good, right? And maybe when I was away from the field and things were going well, I would feel like the man. I would have this big ego, but it was so fragile. It was actually rooted in insecurity. And so I found myself having a lot of success recently, to be honest, like more success than I could imagine. And like I can just see the trajectory that I'm going on. And I'm like, wow, all of the momentum, all of the hard work that I've been putting into, all of the discipline that I've had to these videos and the gym and holding my clients accountable and holding my team accountable and holding myself accountable. Like, I'm actually really seeing the progress. And my old identity just, boom, jumped in and was like, yeah, you should gas yourself up. You're the man. Look at all the cool things that you have. Look at all the cool things that are going on in your life. But life will humble you if you don't humble yourself first. And so I'm making this video not only to maybe help somebody else out there who, is going through the struggle or maybe going through some success right now, to remind you to humble yourself. Because really, I make these videos in particular for the younger version of me. The me 5 years ago who, their ego was entirely wrapped up in the results that they were generating, right? And so maybe I'm just trying to check that guy's ego, and I'm trying to also check my own ego too. Because what I've learned is that it is the man or the human being that makes the outcomes. And so if I'm placing my self-worth and my validation in all of the outcomes, then as soon as things start to go downhill, then what do I have? What am I left with? What is my value? What is my worth? Instead, my worth is in the fact that I do what I say I'm going to do. I get my confidence from the fact that I put in the work every single day, that I have a high level of input towards my goals. And I'm chasing that every single day. And I'm chasing this ideal version of myself with the understanding that I'm probably never going to actually achieve, this 10.0 perfect human being, right? But on the flip side, that doesn't mean that I can't make progress towards that person every single day. And that is what gives me confidence. That is what gives me a sense of fulfillment. That is where I place my identity in things that I can control. Because the minute that you stop doing that, you lend yourself or give away your power to things beyond your control. Could be the opinions of others, could be rooted in a bunch of different things. I have a ton of videos where I talk about that type of stuff. The purpose of this video is a reminder to myself and also a reminder to anybody out there that I talk a lot about dealing with failure. A lot of people talk about dealing with failure, especially in baseball, which is my background. And just in sports in general, right? People always talk about how difficult it is to deal with failure. But not a lot of people talk about how difficult it is to deal with success. Because you don't ever want to let the success go to your head. And so dealing with failure and dealing with success stem from the same types of things. Where you're placing your identity, you're placing your ego, you're placing your self-worth in the results that you're able to drive. So, dealing with success is more important in my opinion. So that way you can have sustained success and continue to grow. And you don't put a lid on top of yourself because you can't manage your emotions. Because at some point you think you're way better than you actually are. And the minute this happens to me every single time, the minute that I think that I'm smarter than I am, the universe just smacks me in the face. I just get a huge smack in the face. Be like, nope, you're not that smart. You're not that cool. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm trying to, think less of myself, but just see things more objectively. See things how they are. Give the power to things that I can control. So that way I can feel confident in myself every single day because I'm doing things that I can control. I'm focused on things that I can control. And if you could do that too, then it'll make dealing with success and dealing with failure so much easier. So that way you can actually create the life that you want without totally attaching your entire self-worth to need these things to happen, right? I don't need any of these things to happen in order to feel confident in myself. I'm just going to continue to put in the work every single day and focus on the things that I can control because that is what's going to lead to long-term sustained success and fulfillment in my life. So if you're struggling with this right now, whether it be a lot of success or a lot of failure or whatever situation you're in, take some time to reflect and ask yourself, what am I putting my confidence in right now? How confident do I feel right now, and why is that? If things are going super well for you and you feel super confident because of what's going on in the world around you, you're about to eat a slice of humble pie. If things are not going as well for you and you don't feel as good for it, figure out how you can feel confident regardless of the fact that things aren't going your way. So hopefully you guys got a ton of value out of this video. I'm certainly somebody who falls victim to the ego over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm just documenting my journey and sharing with you guys what I'm learning along the way. Hopefully you guys can learn something from it as well. Happy Friday, y'all. Catch you in the next one. Peace.